Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Department of Revenue Services. My name is Lisette, and today my colleagues Chris Cremora, Randy Hariprasad, Kelly McLaughlin, and I will provide you with an overview of the sales and use tax information for businesses. Please don't hesitate to contact the Department of Revenue Services either by phone, email, or through myconneCT for any tax-related questions that you may have. DRS business hours are from Monday to Friday from 8:30 to 4:30 p.m. The Department of Revenue Services understands that starting a new business can be both exciting and challenging. Therefore, the department has created a variety of informational tax videos along with other helpful resources for businesses. To learn more about these resources, please visit us at portal.ct.gov/DRS. Businesses are required to register with the department using myconneCT. myconneCT is the Connecticut Department of Revenue Services online portal. Visit us at portal.ct.gov/DRS to create an account. A myconneCT account will allow you to view and make changes to your business accounts, file returns, make payments, and communicate with DRS 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. To complete the myconneCT business tax registration application, you will need the Federal Employer Identification Number, known as the FEIN of the business, or the Social Security number of the sole proprietor. If your business doesn't have an FEIN and you are not a sole proprietor, you will need to apply for a Federal Employer Identification Number with the Internal Revenue Service at irs.gov. The legal name of the business or the sole proprietor's name, the business name, if applicable, the business address. You will also need to make a payment to cover the permit or license fees and the name and Social Security number of the responsible owners or officers. Your sales and use tax permit expires every 2 years and will automatically be renewed and mailed to you, provided your business has no outstanding liabilities or outstanding off-file returns. If your permit is lost or destroyed, you may request a replacement through myconneCT. At this time, I will provide a brief description of the different types of business structures. Depending on the business structure you choose, you will need to file certain tax forms to report your business income. For federal tax information and filing requirements, contact the Internal Revenue Service at irs.gov. Sole proprietorship. A sole proprietorship is owned and operated by one individual, the sole proprietor. A sole proprietor reports income earned by the sole proprietorship on their individual income tax return. Because sole proprietors are not employees of their businesses and income taxes are not withheld from their income, estimated income tax payments may be required. Partnership. A partnership is a relationship between two or more persons who join together to carry on a trade or business. The terms of the partnership are generally stated in a formal partnership agreement. If you are required to register as a partnership with the IRS for federal purposes, then you are required to register as a partnership with the IRS for Connecticut tax purposes. A tax credit may be claimed by partners on their Connecticut income tax returns and corporation business tax returns. Corporation. A corporation is an entity created under state law with a legal existence separate and apart from its shareholders. If you intend to form a corporation, or if your out-of-state corporation intends to transact business in Connecticut, you should also contact the Connecticut office of the Secretary of the State at portal.ct.gov/SOTS. Corporation business tax credits are available to new and existing businesses. Limited liability company. A limited liability company known as LLC, including a single member limited liability company or SML LLC, is another entity created under state law with a legal existence separate and apart from its members. If you intend to form an LLC, or if your out-of-state LLC intends to transact business in Connecticut, you should contact the Connecticut office of the Secretary of the State at portal.ct.gov/SOTS. Limited liability partnership. A partnership may register in Connecticut as a limited liability partnership or LLP. A partner of an LLP is generally not liable for any debts or obligation of the partnership or another partner or partners. A tax credit may be claimed by partners on their Connecticut income tax returns and corporation business tax returns. Nonprofit. A nonprofit entity is any social, civil, religious, political subdivision, or educational organization that has been federally recognized, thus qualifying them to be exempt from Connecticut sales and use taxes. If you purchase an existing business, you should consult a practitioner or business advisor to be certain you take all the steps necessary to protect your interest. In certain cases, the tax liabilities of the former owner can become your liabilities if you don't take precautions. You are also required to get your own Connecticut sales and use tax permit. You may not use the sales and use tax permit issued to the previous owner. The IRS has 60 days from the date of receipt or Form AU 866 to issue a tax clearance certificate or escrow letter. The date of receipt is the date the IRS actually receives a properly completed Form AU 866 with all the required information. The sales tax is a trust tax that must be remitted to the state. If you sell goods or taxable services in Connecticut, the law requires you to charge and collect Connecticut sales tax. It is highly recommended that before starting a new business, you learn about the tax implications regarding the products or services that you intend to sell or provide, since you will be liable for the remittance of the sales taxes along with the timely filings of their returns. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Chris Chimura. Thank you for listening.
Thanks, Lizette. Excellent job as always. Hi, my name is Chris Chimura. I'm a revenue examiner in the Education Outreach Unit, and I'm glad to be here on this nice blustery day to talk about sales and use tax. First, I'm going to talk about who must obtain a sales and use tax permit. Well, it can be individuals, corporations, partnerships. It includes all other business entities that will make sales in Connecticut, regardless of the number of sales made or the amount of tax collected. Also, manufacturers and wholesalers, as well as retailers. And don't forget building contractors and subcontractors prior to providing any services, even if the services are not taxable or if the contract is with a tax-exempt entity. For more information, please check out the Building Contractor's Guide to Sales and Use Taxes on our website. And remember, if you will have more than a single place of business, you must obtain and display a sales and use tax permit for each location. Now, also remember that you need to obtain a sales and use tax permit before making any sales. Now, a sales and use tax permit is needed for sales, rental, or lease of goods, sales of a taxable service, or operating a hotel, motel, lodging house, or bed and breakfast. But these rules don't apply to casual sales or isolated sales, these are infrequent sales of non-recurring nature made by a person not engaged in the business of selling tangible property or taxable service. So an example of a casual sale would be a garage sale. But you must obtain a permit even if you'll be only making sales in Connecticut for one day at a flea market, a craft show, or an antique show. And the sales and use tax permit must be displayed prominently at your booth or table. Now, Connecticut sales or use tax applies to any transaction where the title to the goods being sold transfers from the seller to the buyer in Connecticut. Now, Connecticut use tax applies to any transaction where the title to the goods transfers outside of Connecticut, but the goods are intended to be used in and are brought into Connecticut. The sales tax rate of 6.35% applies to the retail sale, lease, or rental of most goods and taxable services in Connecticut. In a little bit, I will discuss the other sales tax rates. Unless specifically exempted by the Connecticut general statutes, the sale of all goods and certain services in Connecticut are subject to the measure of Connecticut sales tax. All right. Now we'll talk a little bit about the special rates. Currently, Connecticut has 6 special sales tax rates. Now, 1% applies to the sale of computer and data processing services. 2.99% applies to the sale of vessels, motors for vessels, and trailers used for transporting vessels. 4.5% applies to the sale of a motor vehicle to a non-resident member or a member and his or her spouse jointly of the armed forces of the United States stationed on full-time active duty in Connecticut. Then we have 7.35%, which applies to meals and beverages. And then 7.75% applies to most motor vehicles with a sales price of more than $50,000, items of jewelry, whether they're real or imitation, with a sales price of more than $5,000, and articles of clothing or footwear that are intended to be worn on or about the human body, or a handbag, luggage, umbrella, wallet, or watch, with a sales price of more than $1,000. And lastly, 9.35%, which applies to the rental or leasing of a passenger motor vehicle for a period of 30 consecutive calendar days or less. Okay, now I'm going to talk about everyone's favorite subject, which is use tax. Use tax is due when you make taxable purchases but do not pay Connecticut sales tax. So use tax applies to any purchases of taxable goods and services made by a business, except for those purchases that are made for resale. Here are some examples of purchases that use tax could apply to. It could be assets such as furniture, equipment, and machines, office supplies, pre-written software books, snow removal services, which we've been having to use a lot lately, vehicle repair, and landscaping. Now, if you have a sales tax permit, you must report business purchases on which Connecticut sales tax has not been paid. Now, if you paid no tax because the purchase was made from an out-of-state internet or mail order company that did not collect tax, the use tax due is equal to the Connecticut sales tax due on the sale as if it occurred in Connecticut. But if another state's tax was properly paid on purchases made in that state, the use tax due is limited to the amount, if any, by which the Connecticut tax exceeds the tax already paid. And remember, goods or services not subject to Connecticut sales tax are also not subject to the use tax. Okay, we'll talk a little bit about penalties here. Now remember, DRS will impose penalties for failure to obtain or renew a seller's sales and use tax permit while continuing to conduct sales. Now, the first day without a permit is $250, and each day that follows is $100 a day. So to save some money, get your permit and keep it up to date. A reminder that your sales and use tax permit expires every 2 years. I believe Lizette mentioned that earlier. And now I would like to introduce Randy, who will give you a fantastic demo of our myconneCT system. Randy, take it away.
Thank you, Chris. Good morning, everyone. My name is Randy Hariprasad, and today I'll show you how easy it is to file your myConnect sales and use tax. I'll start out by sharing my screen here, and I'll show you how to get into myConnect, and we'll file a sales and use tax today. So let me just log out of here. Okay, so there are a few ways that you can get to myConnect. To get to myConnect, you can simply go to Google and just type in myConnect Connecticut Revenue Services, and this will bring you right into myConnect. Or you can go to portal, as my URL shows here, portal.ct.gov/DRS, and this will bring you right to the DRS page. Once you're on the DRS page, under the most popular, you will click on myConnect File, Pay, and Register Taxes Online, and this will bring you into myConnect. So there are a few easy ways to get to myConnect. So now I'm in myConnect, as you can see here. Before we get into the username and password and all of that, I do wanted to point out some features that we do have on the myConnect homepage that you don't need to log in. So for example, if you are a new business and you need to register to file your sales tax, you don't have to send in a paper application. You can just fill out your registration application online, 100%. It's done online. You get your registration number instantly, and all the paperwork and everything is completed right away on myConnect. So to get there, under the business panel, you will see that there's a link, a hyperlink here that says new business, need a CT registration number. Once you click into that, you should be able to read up and able to proceed by going next. We're not going to get into this in the registration application today, because today is our sales tax demo, but this is how you register for your business on myConnect. So I'm just going to return back over to my homepage. We also have options where you can make bill payments. You can file certain returns and extensions. For individual filers, if there's any one of you in here, this is popular right now for income tax season. You can make payments, extensions, what's my 1099-G, where's my refund, and a whole lot of different options for you. So check it out when you have some time. We also have a panel here for additional resources, and all of these hyperlinks will take you with more details, take you to the Connecticut Revenue Services pages. All right, and we also have the tutorial here, like if you have how to create a username, how to file certain taxes, returns, and there's a lot more tutorials here for you. I'm going to scroll up back here to my create a username. So what we'll do today, we'll create a username real quick and show you how easy it is to create a username. Once I click on create a username on the myConnect homepage, these are all the requirements for creating a username. I'm going to go ahead and click next. And then I'm going to select the business user, because that's what I wanted to do today. And for verification purpose, I'm going to go ahead and select Connecticut registration number, and then I'm going to enter that registration number. Enter my Connecticut registration number. Everything looks good. Now I'm going to enter the last name of the business, and I'm going to go ahead and click next. And this will bring me for my second verification, which you can use a letter ID, one of the last three payments amounts, PIN number, or the tax amount due from the one of the most recent returns filed. So I'm going to go ahead and select one of the last three payments amounts, because I know that I made a payment to Revenue Services, and now I need to create my account. I'm going to select my tax type, sales and use, and then I'm going to enter that dollar amount in here. If this matches what's in the system, then you should be able to go to the next to create a profile. Just going to run through this real quick. Enter my username, enter my email address. Please note the password requirements on the right. Create my password. Confirm my password. I'm going to go ahead and select my security question. And now everything looks good. I'm going to go ahead and click next. Now I got a message here basically because I already used my email address. So I just say yes. I would like to continue using that email address for a different username. So it looks like it doesn't like my username. So anything that these are good examples I'm showing you here, because anything you do in myConnect, we will explain in details what's the issue is. So for example, as you can see here, I use Randy123 for my username, and it says username is not available. So I have to make that a little bit unique because that's already taken in the system. And I did that, make a change to it. Everything looks good. Now I'm on my profile summary and I click submit. Click OK, and now I'm back into my homepage here, myConnect. So now I need to go ahead and log in. So I'm going to go ahead and enter the username and password that I created before. And I'm going to go ahead and click login. But before I click login, let's say if you create your username and password today and you're a monthly filer for your sales and use tax, you come back next month and you say, oh, shoot, you know what? I forget to enter my user. Forget to, write down my username and password. Now I have to call the department. Call a phone to call the department. It might take a few minutes to get to them. And you have, you're a busy person. So that's why we make it convenient for you, where you just simply click and forget username and password. Once you click on the forget username and password, you will be prompted to enter your username if you know your username. If not, you will enter your email address when you created a profile, and we will send you all that information in your email inbox. So you will receive a link with your username. If you forget your password, we will send you a link to create a new password. So we make it that easy for you. So now I'm going to go ahead and click login. It looks like my information that I enter is incorrect. So I'm going to go ahead and retype that. And I'm going to go ahead and click login. So the first time when you log into myConnect, you will get a page. It's a two-step verification process. It's just an extra layer of security for your myConnect account. You don't have to set it up. You can simply click on the disable. I'll make the screen a little bigger for you so you can see that. You can click on the disable link here, hyperlink, but later on, if you wanted to go set it up, you have to log in, go to my profile, and then you can able to reactivate the two-step verification process. Or if you want to set it up, you can add your phone number to do that, or your email address, or you can set up the authentication app downloaded from your Play Store in your phone and download and set that up for the two-step verification. For now, I'm just going to go ahead and click disable. Now I'm in myConnect. And as you can see, upper left side here, it says Randy Demo, my registration number, my business address, and it says Welcome Randy Demo on the right side. Manage my profile. This is what I was talking about earlier. If you click on that, there's a lot you can do here. You can update your security questions. You can set your two-step verification and update your email and your phone number, all the demographic information here. Going to return back to the summary screen. The summary screen will show you all the different tax types that you're registered for. And as you can see, I registered for a few different tax types. And we'll all talk about sales and use tax today because you heard my colleague earlier talk about sales and use tax. And I wanted to show you how it looks in myConnect and how to get to myConnect to file, how easy it is to file on myConnect. But before I do that, let's see. Before I do that, I want to show you some additional features that we do have in myConnect. So for example, we have the Action Center. The Action Center is very important because you will get notifications such as like, oh, hey, Randy, your return is due in 5 days, or your return is overdue in 15 days. Any letters or anything that we send for correspondence, everything will be in the Action Center. So check out the Action Centers when you have time. We also have the More option here. There's a lot more on the More options. We have a submission panel. The submission panel is where you can manage named payments and returns. You can search prior submissions, the taxpayer updates. So for example, I have my business. I have my sales and use tax. My business is growing. I'm trying to open up another location in another area. So now I need to add that sales tax. So you're not going to come to the panel I showed you earlier and register your business again. You have to log in And then once you log in, you will come to taxpayer updates, and then you will click on add additional accounts and location. This is how you will able to add your the other location. Or if you have started, getting employees and you wanted to register for payroll withholding, you will come here, click on the add additional accounts and location, and you can do so. You can close, reopen your accounts right here on myConnect. You can add and update officers, manage names and addresses. These are all done instantly. You can make any changes to your address. Of course, we want you to have, more current address on file so we can correspond with you. So go in here, update your address, and you can see all the updates are done instantly on myConnect. All right, we do have a correspondence. You can send a secure message. You can send attachments, and these are all secure to the department, and the department can respond back to you. You can view letters. You can even get request a good status letters for your business. There's a lot more to do in here. Power of attorneys. You can submit power of attorneys. If you have a penalty waiver, you can do all of that online. If you have a missing or a stolen refund, you can send in a request here as well. We also have a panel dedicated for tax exemptions and certificates. For example, if you need a certificate for the Reg 8 farmers and tax exemptions, fishermen, small winery, material man, they're all done here on myConnect. So, check it out when you have time. There's a lot to go over, and there's a lot of options. We do make it convenient for you. So now we're going to go ahead and return back over to my summary screen, and then we will locate the sales and use tax by scrolling down. On the left side here, you will see sales and use tax. On the right here, you will see return for period ending January 31st. You can see I'm a monthly filer. So if you're a monthly filer, you're a quarterly filer, you will see your filing frequency display here for you. If I scroll down, there's an option here to make a payment. So let's say if you want to make a payment ahead, or you need make a bill payment, you can just simply click on the make a bill payment. If you would like to amend the return, and I'll get in a little bit after when I finish filing the sales and use tax. If you would like to amend the return, you can do so by clicking on view file and returns and view period details as well. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and click File Now. I'm filing for January 31st, 2025. My due date is February 28, 2025. It looks like I'm still timely. It's not February 28th yet. And now I'm in the return. The return is very simple. Now you have to select your tax rates. And as you know, you probably heard my colleague earlier, they talk about the different tax rates. 6.35 is a regular general tax rate. We have the meal, 7.35, luxury, 7.75, and the rental for passengers, 9.35. Today, we're going to do the demo on general sales and use tax. I'll select that box right there. But before I go next, I want to point out a cool feature that myConnect has to offer, and it's called a save draft feature. So for example, if you don't have all your data, you started a return and you were like, oh shoot, you know what? I'm going to lose all this data now because I have to wait till tomorrow for my boss to come in to give me some deductions or something to enter in my return. Don't worry. Click on the save draft feature. You will get a screen pop up like this. It will say finish later or continue editing. So you can do so. It will save it for 30 business days in the system. Before the 30 business days is up, you will get an email reminder in your inbox to say, hey, Randy, you need to complete that return. If not, just don't do anything, and the system will automatically delete it from the system after 30 business days. So now I'm going to go ahead and says continue editing, because we wanted to continue editing, not finish later. All right, so I select my tax rate. Now I'm going to go ahead and click next. And these are all the different line items that we do have in myConnect here, as you can see on my screen. Line 1, gross receipts from sales of goods. So I'm going to go ahead and enter that dollar amount in there. I don't have any leases and rentals, labors and services. I don't have any of those. So now the last question here in the bottom, it's a mandatory question required. Do you have any deductions? It's a yes or no. I do have deductions, so I'm going to click the box that says yes. Click next, and now it's going to bring me in my deduction screen. How are you able to get the deduction? You simply put your cursor in the little blank box here, and then there's a whole list of deduction will pop up. Then you will select your appropriate deductions that you normally use for your business. So for example, I'm going to go ahead and select line 15, which is sales for resale, and then I'm going to enter that amount for you here. So what I wanted to tell you that in myConnect, we do a lot of calculations for you. So rest is easy, it's just easy. You can just like enter the figures, the required fields, and we will do the calculations for you. So now I enter my deductions and I come into my sales, general sales and use here. It gives me a line summary item. As you can see, the deduction is now applied. It tells me how much tax I owe. And if I scroll to the top of the page, we do have, if there's a balance due, you will see that here as well. So there's another question here that says, are you claiming film production tax credit? I'll go ahead and says no to that. And if I was late filing this return, I have estimated interest and estimated penalty will display here for me. But not line 14, it says $4,858. I simply click next. Now it brings me to my payment option. I have the payment of, I can do credit card. Of course, there's a fee involved in the credit card because we're using a third-party website, ACI it's called. And but if you do that, you will get they will charge you a fee. Or if you, let's say, if you're sending in the payment through your bank, it's called the ACH credit option, where you authorize your bank to send DRS the money. So that's the one you will use here, ACH credit, pay after filing. Or if you're using your bank account, which is free, checking or savings, you can choose that option. That's what I'm going to do now. And go ahead and click next. And the next page, I have to tell the system if it's credit card or bank account. I will say bank account. Click next. And now it pre-filled the amount for me in here. And now I just need to confirm the dollar amount that I'm paying. And because I used the system already with the banking information, as you can see, it defaulted, so it makes it easy for you. But let's say if I wanted a new payment for my sales and use tax, then I'll select the new payment channel. And in the drop down, I'll select direct payment for my option. I will enter my routing number. My bank name shows up, Southwest Heritage Bank. So now I know, yes, this is my bank. I entered the routing number correctly. Okay, this is important. You don't want your payment to come back to DRS saying it's rejected. Then now you're late, and then you have to replace the payment. Now I'm going to go ahead and enter my bank account number. We always like to confirm the bank account number by entering it. Checking or savings, checking. And here again, you have the option for saving for future use, yes or no. So I'm going to go ahead and say no. Click next. And now on my confirmation, my confirm submission terms and condition page, declaration page, that's what we call it. The amount of direct payment will be initiated. We kind of tell you here too, and we tell you when the payment is going to come out. And don't forget, if you're a timely filer, you're filing this payment and the return timely, you have up to the due date to enter the payment to be timely. If I scroll down to the bottom of the page, we have a signature here. The signature is electronic signature, so that basically it tells you just to enter your first and last name for the electronic signature, and you should be good to go. And then I click submit, and that easy. Here's my confirmation number. You will also receive a confirmation number in your email inbox for your records. We do provide a printable view for you. If you click on the printable view, this will open up a PDF copy on your computer. And the first section here tells you all about your demographic information. We talk about payment information. Here is listed for you. And if I scroll down, all the different line items and if there's any deductions. So you can keep this for your record. Let's say if you mistakenly close it out and you say like, oh shoot, I really need that copy. Don't worry, I'll show you how to get another copy. It'll always be in myConnect. And now I'm going to go ahead and click OK, return back to my summary screen. And to get that copy, remember the More tab, Search Submission. If you go under Search Submission, you will see the sales and use tax here. Once I click on it, I will have the option to, because I just filed a return, I don't have the option to amend yet. Overnight to a process, and then tomorrow when I come back in the system, it says amend. But today I have the option to withdraw the return, delete the return, continue editing the return, or I can click the print hyperlink. Once I click on the print hyperlink, I'll get another PDF copy of my return again. All right, so now I'm going to return back over to my summary screen. On my summary screen, I'm going to locate my sales and use tax. And then I will go ahead, as you can see here, it says, my return now submitted. Before I had the hyperlink that says file now, I submitted the return, it says submitted. Now I'm gonna go ahead and click on view file returns and view period details. So let's say if I wanted to amend the sales tax like 2-3 months ago or 5 years ago, I will locate that period that I wanted to amend, scroll over to the right. I will have a hyperlink that says view or amend return. Once I drill into that, you can view your return by clicking the next tab. But if you wanted to enter and make any changes to your return, this is where you will click on the hyperlink that says amend return. Once I click on the amend return, how you know you're in the amend return? On each pages of the amend return, we have a big banner on the top that says, this is an amended return, enter the amount that you should have been reported on the return to correct the original return. And this is where you make any changes. I'm not going to go through the amended return. It's very simple. Make your changes, and then you will get a confirmation and a print copy as well at the end of the amend return. I'm going to go ahead and cancel out of here and return back over to my summary screen. And so we talk about how to get into myConnect, how easy it is to get to myConnect. Right? Go to portal.ct.gov/DRS, or you can simply go to Google, just type in myConnect, show you how to, if you forget your username and password, how easily to get it to retrieve that option, how to create a username and password for the first time, how to register your business in Connecticut, how to add additional accounts and locations, and how to file a sales and use tax in myConnect. Thank you all very much for listening to me, and back to you, Chris.
Thank you, Randy. I'll actually be taking it. Good morning, everybody. My name is Kelly McLaughlin, and I'm going to give you a brief tour of the DRS Taxpayer Education Center. The Taxpayer Education Center can be found halfway down the DRS homepage at portal.ct.gov/DRS. The Taxpayer Education Center was created through the lens of a Connecticut taxpayer. The TPEDC provides informational videos and other educational resources like registration for any upcoming webinars and new business flyers. We have videos that are specific to navigating our website. Then there are 2 video series, one for Connecticut residents filing and paying income tax, and the second series is for Connecticut non-resident and part-year residents filing and paying the Connecticut income tax. Finally, at the very bottom, you can find any previously recorded webinars, including in about a week's time. The recording of this webinar will be posted for you to review. You will also receive an email with a link to view the recording when it is ready. Videos will be added and updated often to reflect the most asked questions from taxpayers. The videos provide a quick and easy walkthrough of the topic presented. Today, you will also receive an email with a brief survey about this webinar. Please take a few minutes to fill out the survey because your feedback is appreciated and helpful to prepare for future webinars. Thank you. Now I will hand it back over to Chris and Lizeth for the question and answer portion of this webinar.
Thanks. Lizeth and I are going to go over some of the frequently asked questions. So I'm going to start off asking Lizeth question 1. If the customer I am selling to claims to be a tax-exempt entity, how do I know if they are, and how do I report the sale?
Your client or customer must submit the appropriate DRS exemption certificate with a copy of their IRS determination letter to you at the time of the transaction. Retain the documentation in your files and refrain from charging the Connecticut sales tax. Report the sales as part of the gross receipts and take a corresponding subtraction in the amount of the sale on the line with the matching description, sales to charitable or religious organizations. Question
Excellent.
number 2. Ready?
Ready.
If I am located in Connecticut and sell online to a customer located out of state, do I charge that state's sales tax rate and submit it to DRS when I file my sales tax returns, or do I charge Connecticut sales tax rate?
Okay. Now, Connecticut sales or use tax applies to any transaction where the title to the goods being sold transfers from the seller to the buyer in Connecticut. And Connecticut use tax applies to any transaction where the title to the goods transfers outside of Connecticut, but the goods are intended to be used in or brought into the great state of Connecticut. A sale made by a Connecticut seller is not subject to Connecticut sales tax if the purchaser does not come to a Connecticut location, but instead contacts the Connecticut seller by internet to place the order, and then the item is delivered to an out-of-state address using a vehicle owned or rented by the Connecticut seller or by a common carrier such as Federal Express, the U.S. Postal Service, or another shipping service. Okay, Lizette, are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay. Question 3. If I didn't make a profit after taking my expenses in consideration for a particular monthly period, am I still required to file for that monthly period?
Personal or business expenses cannot be claimed on the sales and use tax return. The gross receipts from all sales are reported on the sales and use tax return for the monthly period in which the sale is made. Whether a profit was realized or a loss incurred during the period has no bearing on what is reported on the sales and use tax return. Question 4. If I am selling to another business who tells me not to charge them sales tax because they will sell the goods to their customers, does my business have to pay the sales tax from its own funds because I didn't collect it?
Okay. So if a business is in the business of selling goods or services they are purchasing from you, they must present you with a completed resale certificate for your files. Now, absent proper documentation from the purchaser claiming they should not be charged sales tax, you must collect sales tax. If the sale is subject to sales tax, however, it was not collected, then your business must pay and remit the tax with the filing of your return. Now, sellers must act in good faith when accepting a resale certificate. The certificate is considered to be taken in good faith if the tangible personal property purchased is similar to or of the same general character as the property the seller could reasonably assume would be sold by the purchaser in the regular course of business. Oh, alrighty. Now for you, Lizette. I plan to sell online through a platform like Amazon, Etsy, eBay, or something like that, who supposedly collect the sales tax on behalf of my business. Do I still need to obtain a sales and use tax permit and file with DRS?
Yes. Although the marketplace facilitator, as they are referred to, will be reporting the sales tax collected on behalf of your business, you are still required to file a sales and use tax return for the business, reporting the total gross receipts. A corresponding subtraction is taken in an amount representing the sales through the online platform. The net result will be zero tax due with the sales and use do with your sales and use tax return. Question 6. I closed my sales tax account for the business and now I want to reopen it. Do I register all over again to get a new number with DRS?
Okay. Well, if you created a myConnect profile, then you can reopen the closed sales tax account through the More tab. You would check taxpayer update under the taxpayer updates panel, and then you would reopen a closed account link. But remember, you will be required to pay the $100 permit fee to reopen the account. On to question 7. How do I report goods and/or services my business purchased but didn't pay Connecticut sales tax on?
If taxable goods or services were purchased, but sales was not paid, such items are subject to Connecticut use tax. Report these items on lines 4 through 6 of your sales and use tax return for the reporting period in which you made the taxable purchase. Okay, question 8. What if I have forgotten my password?
Okay. Like, I think Randy went over this, and I'll say the same thing. You're going to click the forgot username or password hyperlink on the myConnect homepage. And then from there, you would enter your username. Then you would click the submit button, and then an email will be sent to the email address provided when you set up your logon. So please check your email box for a message. If you do not receive the email, check your junk or spam email folder. And then you would click on the hyperlink in the email and enter the question, and enter the answer to the secret question to continue the password reset process. Then you would click the next button, and then you would type the new password in the new password field, confirm it by typing it again, and then you would click OK. Then you would log in with your username and new password. All right, we're on to question 9. It's a tough one. How do I send a secure message through myConnect?
Log into myConnect. Open the More menu, locate the correspondence group, and click the Send Message hyperlink. Follow the prompts, type your message. You can also add attachments to your message. Once you are satisfied with your message, click Submit. Okay, question 10. Can a business have multiple persons with usernames in myConnect?
Okay, this is a good one. Yes, you can add secondary logons in myConnect. You would click on the Manage My Profile to add secondary logins, and users will have access to both file and pay. And you can also set up users for specific tax types. Okay, we're on to question 11. Our employee who set up our myConnect account for our business has left the company. How do I make sure the secondary login I created for the employee is turned off so they can't access our myConnect account any longer?
Log in into your myConnect account. Click the More tab on the summary page of myConnect. Scroll down to the Access Management panel and click the Manage Access link. Okay, question 12. What if my email address has changed and it isn't the same as I set up in myConnect when I first registered?
Okay, so to change an email in myConnect, you click on the Manage My Profile hyperlink, and that's where you would find where you would change your email address. Okay. Last question for Lizette. How do I close a tax type in myConnect?
Be sure to file returns up to the date for the tax type you are closing. Next, while logging into myConnect, open the More menu. Locate the Taxpayers Updates panel and click the Close Account hyperlink. Enter the last day of the period for which you filed your latest return, and then click Submit. Question 14. What if I have an existing sales and use tax account and need to add Connecticut withholding because I hire employees to work in Connecticut?
Okay. So if you've already registered with DRS and you have a Connecticut tax registration number, you can log into your myConnect account and you would log into myConnect, and then you would, to add additional accounts and locations, you go into the More tab and locate the Taxpayer Updates group, and then you would click on Add Additional Accounts and Locations hyperlink. Then you would click Next. Then you would select registering for additional accounts or opening a new location, and you would click Next. And then from there, you would provide the required information. You would make any required payments. You would provide the required electronic signature, and then click Submit. Now that does it for our frequently asked questions. Here we have our contact information. And if you need to get a hold of us for any tax type question, please get a hold of us. You can get it by phone, email, and as we had told you, you can send a secure message through myConnect. And we thank you for spending some time today with us on sales and use tax. We hope to see you soon. Thank you.